Welcome back. In the last episode, we built a support system boundaries, FAQs, triage, so support doesn't destroy your time. Today, we are talking about the thing that decides whether growth feels exciting or terrifying. That is capacity. Capacity is simply how much work you can handle without quality dropping. And here's the hard truth: most businesses don't collapse from the lack of demand, they collapse when demand exceeds capacity and the founder reacts too late. So, today I'll help you recognize capacity limits early and expand safely without burnout, without chaos, and without disappointing customers. Let's talk about why capacity problems feel sudden. Capacity problems rarely show up overnight, they build quietly. It starts as I'm just busy this week. Then it becomes I am always busy. Then I am behind. Then I am drowning. And one reason this happens is because founders normalize pressure. They tell themselves this is just what it takes. But pressure is a signal. And if pressure becomes your normal state, your system is overloaded. Not because you are weak, because the business is asking for more than your current structure can handle. Now, what is capacity really? Capacity is not only time, it's bigger than that. Capacity includes time, energy, attention, emotional bandwidth, and system strength. Even if you technically have hours, your brain still has limits. When attention gets overloaded, predictable things happen. Mistakes increase, response time slows, customers feel neglected, you start avoiding messages, and you feel like you are constantly reacting. And I want you to hear this clearly. It's not laziness, it's overload. A business that respects capacity stays stable. So, what are the early warning signs that you are hitting capacity? Here are some common ones. Your delivery timeline starts slipping. You stop following your own checklist. You feel irritated at normal customer questions. You delay responses more than usual. Your quality becomes inconsistent. You can't think clearly about improvement anymore. You survive the day, but you don't build the business. Those are not personality issues, they are system signals. When these signals appear, you don't need more motivation, you need adjustment because motivation can't fix overload. Structure fixes overload. When you hit capacity, you basically have two options: expand or pause. Option 1: pause growth. That means you slow intake, you raise prices, you reduce scope, you stabilize your systems. Option 2: expand capacity. That means you improve processes, you hire help, you automate, you reduce manual works. Both options are valid. This is not a right versus wrong situation. But here's the key: expanding before stabilizing creates chaos. So the correct sequence is stabilize first, then expand. Because if the system is shaky, adding volume just multiples the weaknesses. Now let's talk about the safest way to expand capacity. This is the order I recommend because it prevents expensive mistakes. First, standardize. Make sure your work is repeatable. Default workflow, basic checklist, clear steps. Second, simplify. Remove unnecessary steps. If something adds stress but not value, cut it. Third, template. Turn repeated work into templates, messages, documents, checklists, small systems. Fourth, automate only after you understand the workflow. Automation before clarity creates confusion. Fifth, delegate only after the task is documented. And I'll say this clearly: hiring without documentation is expensive because you pay someone and then you spend extra time training, correcting, and explaining repeatedly. Automation without clarity is messy because you automate the wrong process and multiply confusion. Systems first, then scaling. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood capacity moves: raising prices. A lot of founders think raising prices is greedy, but honestly, it's often the most responsible move. If demand is high and capacity is limited, raising prices does two things: it reduces low quality customers, the ones who demand more and values it less, and it increases margin so you can hire help or improve system. Low prices plus overload equals burnout. And here's the simple signal. If you are at capacity and customer still says yes easily, your price is probably too low. Let me give you a simple capacity planning rule you can use immediately. If adding one more customers makes you fear you're weak, you are at capacity. That doesn't mean you are failing. It means you have reached the edge of your current system. And at that point, you choose intentionally, pause or expand, but don't drift into overload. Drifting is where burnout happens. Choosing is where stability happens. Alright, let's work this up. Capacity is the difference between growth that feels exciting and growth that feels like panic. Capacity problems don't usually appear suddenly, they build quietly, and pressure becomes normal. So, watch the signals, respect the limits, and when you hit that edge, choose intentionally, pause, or expand. In the next episode, we'll talk about delegation, how to hire or outsource without losing control. Because scaling requires help, but help without structure creates new problems. Season 4 is about expanding safely. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one.